Welcome everyone. We are here. We're at the Hard Rock. Got the coffee out. We have BenCB789. We're doing some hand reviews. Ben, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing fine.
Great. Well, Ben, if doesn't really need an introduction, but those of you that are new, he is doing the Raise Your Edge tournament course. It's called the Masterclass, and it really is unbelievable. We're not going to spend a lot of time going over that, but I mean, you can just see here, this is what comes with the course. It's very in-depth, a lot of good categories, breaks the game down. There's even a view hand ranges, which I'm kind of it's pretty cool. You can actually go and see, you can click through and all these different situations you can go through and click on and find out what you should be doing where, and it really breaks it down to the T. I mean, it's crazy the depth of this program. It's constantly improving. So Ben, congrats on the program. I've loved it. I've been using it, and if you guys haven't checked it out, there is a way to do that for, I think you can, there's trial stuff, you have your YouTube channel, you have free content, and then you can kind of work your way into it and see if it's for you. But I think people get a little intimidated by it, but the reality is, if you have some general poker understanding, you can understand these terminology and really get as deep as you want into it. So congrats on that. We're not going to spend too much time today talking about that. We are going to spend time today on reviewing this 2100 final table we ended up making, and you were at my table to start the tournament. It is a difficult tournament. There was 102 runners. Where would you rate this? This is one of the more difficult tournaments online on PokerStars, 2K buy-in, Sunday tournament. It's not like a special one, so it's just a weekly. Where would you rate that tournament?
I think it's one of the toughest tournaments in the week, if not even the toughest. The daily 500 is pretty much also one of the toughest. So I think it definitely belongs to the top three, the toughest tournaments in the week.
Cool. Well, I will say I'm aware of that. So generally when I play a full schedule and I'm streaming on Twitch, I don't play it just because there's so many 500 buy-in tournaments. There's a lot going on. I'm doing a Twitch chat. So this week I just said, I'm going to play a little less tables, and we'll fire it. It's my first time ever playing it. We had a good deep run in it, and we're gonna break down a few spots. I think we'll just kind of scroll through. Like I said, you and I were at the same table at the very start for a while. Nothing too interesting there, but as this tournament progressed, we're just gonna kind of fast forward. Some of these hands aren't super interesting, but we'll just kind of go through it, and we see something that catches our eye, let's talk about it. So we'll play a couple hands here, just kind of get you start with 25,000. As you can see here, we have almost 2x starting, and we get a pretty good spot with nines. We're gonna the blinds are 12.
And I haven't even seen the hands, so it's gonna be pretty exciting to see what kind of hands you're bringing here to the table, and how you decided to play the hands.
Absolutely. And for me, again, the thing I'm most excited about this review with you is I think at the final two tables there was some spots and maybe that I'm not being aggressive enough or should look at it from a different perspective. So that's really the focus of this video. We'll kind of give you guys a little splash through just how we got there quickly, but here, not really a decision. It's like a 9-blind shove from a player on the cutoff or on the button with nines, and this is a pretty easy rejam, and not necessarily nines. What would be the bottom hand you would want to go with here? Just to get,
in terms of pairs, like fours and better, fives and better, that would be the bottom of my pairs I'm shoving. This really depends on the players who's open shoving, but something along the line of pocket fours and pocket fives and better.
Yeah, I'm definitely happy to have nines in the spot, and it's
of course,
and
absolutely.
We get a board, as you'll see here, we were in pretty good shape pre-flop, although there are no guarantees. So that's worth noting, I would say, shoving the 7-6 off there. It's a little.
But you won with 9 high.
Yeah, that's true too. So then we get queens, the very next hand. Good player here. We go ahead. I guess you could flat. I think in these kind of situations, it looks like it's 7-handed. 2 players are sitting out. It's like one of those things. We're in position. We want to have a 3-bet game as well with our big hands with our bluff. So I think it's pretty clear 3-bet. How do you feel about the sizing and against?
I think it's a bit too big. It gives him a really bad price with a hand like Queen 10 suited to make the call. You don't really make it that big here in that particular situation, since you're playing effectively 20 to 30 big blinds, and that in that range, you want to size it down a bit with, especially when you're in position, right? And especially with a hand like queens, what are you really afraid of? A hand like ace jack, ace 10, like the suited aces are pretty much calling anyway, very frequently. So you're only afraid of like, and ace king gets it in pre-flop. So by making it smaller, you give him room to call hands that are 3-outers or even worse, like a hand like queen jack, queen 10, jack 10 suited. And with queens, you're heavily dominating his jack 10 suited, 10-9 suited hands, even because you block their outs to make straights. So it definitely would aim more towards of like 12K, 12.5K.
That makes sense.
And it also gives you a better price with your bluffs. And there's still not so much he can do against. Like, he's not getting the right price to call with sevens to set mine because the stack to pot ratio is becoming too short.
Right. And as you guys can see here, if you're new, this is kind of give you an idea what's going on here with the stats. This is Poker Tracker. We're watching a replay on Poker Tracker, and you can see the VPIP, the pre-flop raise percentage, the 3-bet percentage. Interesting to note, my 3-bet percentage pretty low here. Almost like I haven't been 3-betting at all. How many blinds the players have. So if you don't want to do the math, kind of gives you a quick computation. You can see it. So we're 30 blinds each here. To start the hand. So we do end up going a little bigger. Well, on the other side of that, though, what about being balanced? Like, what about the argument, well, shouldn't I just, if I have aces or if I have ace 4 suited or if I have queens or queen jack off, wouldn't I want to be the same sizing? So you're saying maybe just go smaller in general here, no matter what you're 3-betting?
You still have so many hands in your range that benefited from a smaller sizing, like a hand with aces or with kings or with queens, just because you want him to stay in the pot. Yeah. And also it gives you a better price for your bluffs, right? And even if you make it 12K, 12.5K, again, it's not that he has a snap call with, let's say, jack 10 or pocket 5s. Like, he's supposed to fold those hands that even though he might, the price might be appealing to him,
right?
The equity he has against even your bluffs. I mean, just think about the hands you're doing it for value. It's like 10s plus, ace queen plus, and then your bluffs are maybe something like king 10 suited, jack 10 suited, or a hand like ace 5 suited. They're relatively strong. So if he has a hand like 6s, 5s, he's still dominated by many of our hands, and he's just only flipping against our bluffs. And the same goes for a hand like jack 10, queen 10 suited. So this is a spot where even your bluffs still have a high playability, also still reasonable raw equity. Raw equity means like the pre-flop equity against a certain range. So don't worry about not being balanced or whatsoever. You can still go for 2 sizings. Like, if you want to go a bit bigger with pocket 10s and jacks and also your ace king, because you actually just want to get it in pre-flop. You don't want to play post-flop so frequently with these kind of hands. Then you can absolutely do that. Your range is still strong enough, and then you mix in some bluffs with like ace 5 suited, where you just want to take down the pot right away, or a king jack off or ace 10 off. But just keep in mind that you're not getting out of line with your frequencies, because then your opponent can pretty much 4-bet jam his entire range and he has immediate profit.
Right. Makes sense. Okay, so maybe good to notice here. But I thought, the sizing, I guess it's a little under, or it's about 3x, so it's a little bit big. But we end up Ludwig, Ludovic. I think he's a very good reg.
Ludovic Geilich, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's a very aggressive, very fearless player.
Yeah, so we win, run well there, big flip, and we're a favorite, but we hold. That's huge. So let's fast forward through here. Nothing to see right now. There was one ridiculous hand. Oh, and this is just this is a good tournament to get some big pairs in. So it looks like we get the queens again. This was the hand of the day all around. We made 4 final tables. We won the 33 rebuy. We definitely ran well on this Sunday. This is this past Sunday in the Bahamas, I believe, the 15th of January. So we're reviewing a few days later. But we'll go ahead and open up here, and looks like we get flatted pretty deep. I mean, we have 60 blinds here, and he's got us covered. And then, I think this is, in my mind, obviously queens is a monster hand. It's 9-handed. Interesting here, Silent has us covered, that he's not 3-betting us originally, which he could do. I think that might be a function of the stack sizes. There's the 2 kind of shove stacks here, a 25 blind and then 15 blind stack. And sometimes for me, I trap when I flat and those stacks are behind me. It's a trap. So I mean, obviously I have queens. I'm not like super scared, but I definitely went off in my head that he could be trapping a big hand here by flatting with these stacks behind. But anything about this? I mean, to mention that you see the flat and then the guy jams pretty clear. I mean, I have to kind of go with it. As I don't see anything else I could really do here. Like flat and fold seems terrible.
So, nah. You just have to go with it, and also look at his VPIP. And if we're going to work a little bit with the stats here, his VPIP is 27, which is compared to the table pretty high. So he's probably the guy that is also flatting you with a hand like 6-5 suited here or 7-5 suited more frequently than others. So even though he might have some traps, but especially in late position versus button or MP versus button, people are not trapping so frequently. It's more like when someone is opening from EP and someone is flatting from EP or MP, then traps are happening more frequently.
Right, that makes sense. There's more people behind that can raise
or
do something.
Yeah, exactly.
And also here it's usually less credible when he 3-bets. Like if he has a big hand, it's like if I have ace jack, I may just say, you know what, like I don't believe you and go nuts. So all right, so we'll let it play out. Queens again, good spot, good hand against that 25 blind shove. And I don't even remember what he had. I do know that we won this pot. So let's see.
Jacks or ace king?
Oh, 7. So a good spot again. 7. Over pair, under pair, great spot. So here is where at this stage of the tournament we're up to 214K. We're basically chip leader. I believe we were like 3 of 25, something like that. So this is that spot where it's hard to get a lead. 25K starting stack. We get off and we're off to a really good spot. And this is where, I think I need to kind of turn the aggression on a little more, or, 15 pay. So the bubble's starting to get a little more. There's some really short stacks. And, like here we see an open under the gun from this player. And I ace deuce suited, an under the gun raise. I thought about 3-betting this one. I think I ultimately passed, but this was one of those hands where, if it was a little later position raise, maybe I would 3-bet. Yeah. I mean, do you think this is is this a okay spot to 3-bet or no? Usually not against early under the gun +1, maybe just pass a suited ace.
No, I don't think it's a great spot at all, because
Especially
he's opening from under the gun.
And
his range isn't so wide, and also you have 6 players sitting behind that can easily wake up with a hand. Okay. So you have to keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, I think, again, I'm looking, that's the thing in my game I'm trying to open up, is find a little more spots. I think I'm viewed as on the tighter side and a lot of in the higher stakes circles online. So, I can use that to my advantage. But again, that's important where to use it to your advantage. Maybe post-flop in certain spots with some blockers, not necessarily pre-flop, or pre-flop ranges. Like he has 20 blinds, he's under the gun. He could think I'm tight, but doesn't matter. His hand is his hand, so he's probably got a pretty good hand. So we did pass there.
Also keep in mind, like, you're not only 3-betting against this particular opponent, you're 3-betting against the entire table. So the earlier you're sitting, the less bluffs you're supposed to have, and also your bluffs have to have more equity, because there's the likelihood of someone waking up with a hand like ace queen or ace jack sitting behind and opts to flat, and then you want to have that at least have reasonable equity against his calling range.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah. So we do pass that ace 2 spot. Again, we're still a little bit of ways out, but we're going to zoom through. I think this is actually kind of fun to do a virtual or a visual replay. So like here with this stack, maybe in this position, I have queen 10 off under the gun. We're 8-handed. This player's sitting out. I mean, totally fine. I could maybe go for an open there, 90 blinds, queen 10 under the gun.
No, it's still it's still a fold. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Who was sitting out, the button, or?
I just think there's a player not here, right here in the.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're 8-handed. I think it's close. Queen 10 suited, definitely an open, but I did fold. So okay, cool. Just trying to find some spots maybe that we're playing differently.
Absolutely. And you have to have that mindset of maybe, finding spots where you could have opened a bit wider or 3-betting a bit wider, and looking out for these spots.
Okay, so we're just gonna keep fast forwarding. This does go pretty quickly to get to the final table. I'm just gonna try to see what happened, because we ended up coming into the final table, I believe 6 of 9, not super healthy. Here it looks like a raise and a flat. Oh, I think we flopped a set here, which is nice against this player. Also, I think a high stakes, maybe a little more aggressive. He's got 13% 3-bet, only over 72 hands only, but so we do flop a set here, and good flop, obviously 8-7-4.
What was the pre-flop stack size?
He had like 28 blinds. He min raised.
Wow. You're just easy reshove pre.
On 28 blinds?
Yeah, like 30 big blinds and less. Big blind versus cutoff button, you have very, very profitable rejams. Even the rejam is much more profitable than just flatting because of its playability.
Wow, so interesting. I will notice I've made some adjustments on that, and I've seen in the highest online, hand reviews and stuff, like the button cut off with king tens and king jack offs, and yes, low pairs definitely being aggressive. I would think this would be a little too many, but okay, so you think this would be just an easier hand to jam?
For 100%. Yeah.
Wow, great. All right, that's interesting already. That's something I definitely would not be doing over on that for that many blinds. So we do flop a set as played. Go check on the turn here. I don't know. Do you like when it goes check? That it's definitely a range advantage for me in the blinds calling, and he checks back. So with that being said, would you do you like on the turn? Like, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I'm not scared of anything. I think with that 5 coming when he checks the flop, what do you think? Do you like to check, or would you bet something small even?
I mean, we definitely should bet. Like, just look at the potential bluffs you have. You have all the 10-9 suited. You have all the jack 10s. You have the jack 9s. You can have like king 9, queen 9, even ace 9. Like, you still have a bunch of bluffs. So your strategy should be a high betting frequency strategy here, and with a small sizing. That also allows you to just protect. Let's say you have a hand like 4-3 suited. You just bet 1/3 pot to make him fold a hand like queen jack, king queen, king 10, ace king, ace queen, which is a very, very big part in his range once he's open raising pre-flop, and then checking the flop back. And also, if you have a hand like jack 7, 10-7, you just bet 1/3, you protect your hand, and you even get a little bit of value from maybe ace 4, ace 5 suited, because now since you start betting so small, he's aware of the fact that you have all the 10-9s, jack 9s, queen 9s, and so on and so forth, that he kind of is forced to call those hands. Again, we make it so small where we then get value from a 4 or 5, and additionally, we protect ourselves against all the king, queen, and ace king type of hands.
Awesome.
And also with your pocket fours, and you can also do it with your 6x hands, with your straights, where you basically then manipulate his range in a way where he then starts calling with 0% equity hands. So for your overall strategy, this is a great board texture where just betting out like 4K, 5K is the best strategy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. As played it, we checked the turn, and then on the river, we decided to go for kind of a bigger sizing, just somehow if he's checking back an overpair. But I guess, like it makes a lot more sense just to bet small turn, and then if he gets to the river, I don't know. As played though, do you think the sizing you might as well go big at this point, or still he just probably doesn't have anything? Maybe bet small, get called by ace high.
I would make. I see your concerns here. I make that very, very, if not even extremely player dependent. If I have the feeling that this guy likes to hero call, because we represent a lot of 9x hands here, and he opts to go for a hero call with ace king, I size it up. If I think he's somewhat on the reasonable side, then I just maintain a more game theoretical approach and probably just bet a lot of hands small. But since we can have more stronger hands than him still, it's always better to go for a little bit bigger sizing here. So I think 11K is totally reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, and again, noticing
you should have made it 11K 789 though.
789?
Yeah.
All right. We'll keep that for BenCB789. We can do that for you. It is hand review with BenCB789. We didn't even give you, we've done a few of these videos, haven't given you the proper introduction. Most people do know who you are, but the most winning online poker the past 3 years, plays the 100K, won the 100K, I believe Scoop or W Coop. It was with Fedor Heads Up, and a lot of other results, guys. Make sure you check them out. Check out their social channel on Raise Your Edge. They have a YouTube channel. They have Twitter, Instagram, and put out a lot of cool content. So, guys, make sure you give Ben a follow, and let's keep going. This is fun. I like this. I'm already learning a few things, or kind of reaffirming even like the force the spot pre-flop. So like on this particular hand, here's two situations where first of all you would have just jammed pre. It looks like we would have won the hand, or it's not like he had kings or aces, so we would have either won or he would have just folded pre-flop. But so that's interesting. And then also after the flop, to note that So that's already two situations, two different things you would do differently, which is a good way to kind of evaluate our game and realize, man, all right, let's look at this from some other perspectives and spots. So that was an interesting hand. Nice to make quads, of course, and didn't have to worry much. So again, we're up to 217K. And we're in a really good position. I believe we were second or third, and there's probably around 20 left. I think this is why it's seven-handed, because it's like 7, 7, and 6 is this juncture of the tournament. So we're getting near the bubble, and let's see how it keeps moving here. So all right, Ace Queen of Diamonds, big hands, and let's see what the action is here. I forget this hand. So we're in position. All right, so we have a raise from Skywalker. And let's see, what do you think our best call of action is? This is a pretty big hand, seven-handed, 25 blind stack raising. Do you like a flat or a raise in this spot?
I would pretty much just go for a 3-bet.
You would probably
and get it in pre-flop. Yeah.
It's also not interesting. We do have Lilota Lopez, who's very short, but again, ace queen suited isn't like a necessarily like trap hand where you're like trying to get like fours to like jam in on you. It's like one thing if I had queens or kings and there's like two short stacks behind, maybe I could flat for that reason, but here it's not like a trapping hand. So yeah, I think you would just like to go a little smaller, right? Like 14ish, 13-5 and just isolate and go in position.
Yeah, I think 14K is definitely big enough. And again, our intention is just to make them fold 7s, 8s, which they would have jammed if we just flatted. Like now we're 3-betting. Now they cannot 4-bet jam 7s and 8s anymore. So definitely go for the 3-bet here.
Right. So I think we did err on caution and we did not raise. This is one where I knew in my head I was like 50-50 on what I was going to do. I just thought it's better to raise here, but we did just flat. And as you can see, with flatting, we bring in the small blind and the big blind. Now we're in position. We have maybe the best starting hand, but it's just like one of those hands post-flop. Also, if it comes queen 4-3, and now all of a sudden we let 3s or 4s flat the small blind, we can end up getting stacked or lose a huge pot. So I think that for those reasons, just isolate, make this guy make a decision, likely just win the pot pre-flop, and if not, could be heads up with the nice situation. So yeah, I would have liked to see a raise here. Definitely. Again, here's the spot. We're chip lead. We're basically chip leader. We have a big stack, and then we end up just check folding. Pretty weak hand there. So that was one I wasn't too thrilled with, and looks like we do, Ben.
Yeah, and especially with these ace king, ace queen type of hands, you have to keep in mind that you're not really getting any weaker hands into play. Like all the offsuited ace, especially for the small blind, are going to fold pre-flop anyway, right? But what hands is he calling with? Yeah. Hands that have very often 40% equity, right?
Like king jack suited, jack 10, jack 10
suited. Like even 6-5 suited, 7-5 suited. Of course, the big blind has a wider range, but still then also more hands like 7-6 off, 8-7 off.
Right.
And equity denial is very, very important here. So just go for the 3-bet and then get it in. Of course, it sucks very often then he has ace king or jacks or 10s.
Right. And again, our stack is healthy. It's like if we lose 65K there, it's not the end of the world. We're still very healthy. And, so I think I agree with that. So that was not thrilled with that one. There's one hand down the stretch. So here we have queen 10 off. And this is 7-handed. Let's see, on the hijack, right? So this is probably an open. I mean, queen 10, hijack. There's one shove stack with 11 blinds. But what do you think here? This hand's too good to not open in this spot?
Yeah, I think it's a standard open raise. Yeah, especially the cutoff. You cannot really flat. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do pass there. Again, maybe a spot where could have gone with. Obviously, we pass. So there's one that's kind of close, but think we could do. Let's see what happened. This looks like a nice hand. Ace jack suited on the button. We have an under the gun open from the big stack at the table. And again, his opening range, 7-handed under the gun near the bubble. This can be super wide. I mean, he's going to probably open a fair amount here. So ace jack suited looks pretty good on the button.
Yeah, pretty standard flat call.
Yeah. That's I think we're aligned here. Generally, I'm going to err towards that anyway. as you saw with the ace queen of diamonds, which we do flop the ace, and I think we played. Oh, this was a bizarre hand actually. So what do you think about on the flop? Checks to us. Put a little bet out there.
Yeah. Ace queen and ace king is very often betting himself. So if he's in the check call mode, he's protecting with or pot controlling with hands like ace 10, ace 8, or ace deuce suited. He's probably calling like his kings, queens once, and he can sit on so many flush draws, which he's slow playing. So I definitely want to see a bet here. We have very, very strong aces. We have weaker aces we can check back with, like an ace 5 suited or an ace 10.
We also have the backdoor spades too. Like
exactly,
there's
backdoor
diamonds.
Spades.
We want to charge for diamonds. We want to get off the like. The problem is when he has like 7s, not 8s, 6s, 10s too. You know, it's like, do we just let him peel for free? Like we just pick it up. So yeah, this was one that I wanted back. You know, again, I'm gonna admit I'm not the best 6-7 tabler. I was at the final table at 33 rebuy heads up right now. You know, I was like, this was exciting, and sometimes I don't think I play my best when I'm playing so many tables, and I take like a little bit too passive of a line. So as we see, I end up checking back on that flop, which it just doesn't make a lot of sense. And then as played, I decide to bet small now, which is maybe even too small. We get called, and then the river we get checked to. What do you think about that turn size bet? Just even too small at that point, like maybe charge more for diamonds. Like I just figure he might just have like suited broadways, have nothing, but I don't know. What do you think? Maybe a little bigger on the, you would have bet the flop, and if you don't bet the flop, what do you think about the turn sizing?
The turn is too small. Like right. You definitely
bet
now
90,
you have to understand that your hand is extremely strong. It literally plays similar to the nuts. Because given the action, like it's very, very unlikely that someone has a better hand. Then the most likely hand is pocket aces, and we're blocking aces heavily. So here we definitely should a hefty bet here on the turn, something like 14, 15K.
All right, so this hand was a bit of a mess, which is good. This is what we want to do. We want to talk about not necessarily did well. And now the river comes in. We do go small in the turn. He checks to us. And the diamonds miss off. I mean, in my mind, like as I played it, there's really nothing we're losing to other than somehow a set on the river, or there's just not much I feel like we're losing to. But what do you think for river here when he checks to us?
Clear value bet. You can still have something like 10-9 suited, pocket kings. He can put you on flush draws, random bluffs. I mean, now the thing is, you're basically representing nothing, right? You check the flop, you bet so tiny on the turn. Now you should take advantage of it and put in a 30K bet and really size it up. This is a spot where you will barely get check raised. I mean, sevens is the only hand I'm afraid of.
That was my logic. I'm telling you, Ben, this was like, you know, there's hands of the day. This was like not our all-star play of the day, but that's my biggest learning and growth as a player has been, even I've done some other videos for some review stuff and looking at it, and it's being open with like showing, I'm not the best. Like, you know, we won the 33 rebuy on Sunday, 988 people. We could do a hand review, you know, victory tour of that, but I'd rather do this because I realized I was in a position to win some big money in this tournament, and then it ended up us being at the final table kind of, you know, limping along, and I think I just passed up too many spots and just didn't play my best in this tournament. So this is what, you know, I want to show that, hey, I made some mistakes. I didn't play my best. Let's take a look at this. So, all right, as played, this is actually a super bizarre hand where a couple of maybe mistakes on my end ended up being kind of funny. This is a super weird hand, and I think everyone was surprised at the table. You know, there's probably a couple notes being made, like what the hell. So I end up checking behind on the river. Didn't expect that. Like so my hand is like, what the hell? And his hand, you know, he actually hit gin, and then, you know, that's the problem. If he had check raised me on the turn, it would have been an awkward spot. I could end up being in a really weird spot. Like if he check raises then on the turn where I just miss a bet on the flop, now I get check raised on the turn. Like, what do I do? And then I've been in a weird spot on the river. So sick. So like, you know, they say two wrongs don't make a right, but maybe my two wrongs did actually make a right there because we got off pretty cheap. But in theory, we just bet the flop. We're likely just going to win.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And this is a beautiful example of, you know, you can still play a hand bad, but still win, you know. And if that happens very often, that gives you the picture that you might beat poker, and that happens especially to beginners, right? Yeah. But even for us, like that's why it's really hard to determine whether you make money in poker or not. So you have to do these reviews on a constant basis in order to find out where you stand.
Right. Now, if we bet the flop and we get check raised, then we can make a decision. We go to a turn. We have the backdoor spades. We can evaluate. Again, like it's just strange hand, but I think the moral of the story is bet the flop. It's just a pretty clear bet flop, and we knew that his range, like 7-handed under the gun chip leader, he's going to have a wide range. It's not like he's just kings and ace king suited when he's opening here. 6 is obviously a solid hand, but anyway, interesting hand. Could have been really a mistake compounded. It didn't end up going so poorly, but yeah, that was a very interesting hand and definitely sort of a mistake. Looks like we get king jack off here, and this is one that, like, at the time I really wanted to 3-bet. It just felt like we're on basically the bubble. We're coming down the stretch. You can see our statistics too. Our 3-bet percentage is so low. We haven't really been doing much, and this just feels like a good hand candidate. The king jack off to 3-bet this stack size in this position. What do you think? The good hand is select to do it. Maybe make it like 16-5 there.
Yeah, absolutely. Even bigger. I really want to put him at risk with his entire tournament life and eventually busting when he makes a stupid play. So here I would size it up to 18, 19, 20K even, so that his only option is going all in or fold. I mean, of course he can call, but does he really want to play a big pot with a marginal hand?
Yeah, what does he do with king queen offsuit? Yeah. What does he do with ace jack off, like for that? And then he's just guessing, and we're putting bubble. It's 4K bubble. I think 4,200, we're right there. He's got a stack. Look, there's short stacks all around. It'd be kind of a punt to get 17th when these guys are right here. So, that was one that I instinctually wanted to do. We passed.
And even if it's not bubble, like GTO-wise, it's definitely reasonable bluff through it here, cut off against hijack.
Right.
Because he's still opening with a bunch of weaker hands. We make them fold. And if he calls, we still have a good equity against his continuing range.
Man, I remember some of these hands, but this was like a couple of these. I'm just like, man, I knew there were some weird ones, but that one was, the ace jack suited was annoying and bizarre. The ace queen of diamonds as well. We had a premium hand there that we passed and just ended up check folding on the flop. So those are two immediate kind of hands where it's like I'm looking, well, why am I not chip leader final tables and stuff? And I think showing some of these hands is seeing why. So. Let's see here. 4s again. I don't remember. We're in the small blind this time. Blinds are up. We are really close to the money. We might even be like hand for hand. So we see a raise and a shove. Pretty easy to get out of the way for us. We did silent mode, did call. Can't remember what happened here, but let's see. It looks like jacks and ace jack. So
wow, this is like, if it's stone bubble, like this rejam is not good. Look at European stack. He's going to be pot committed.
I mean, it might have been. It's super close. I know 15 cashed, and I know that like it's like 7, 6, and it might be like it's final. It's like 4 or 5 off, so it's not stone bubble.
Okay, I see.
But it's right there. All right, ace king open here, a little bit big sizing, and against European. Normally, I'm going to check back ace king. On these boards, ace king, ace queen. Again, we're kind of on the bubble. What are your thoughts on this? I have no club. Europe fan, super beast. What do you think on this?
If it's stone bubble, you should just bet. I mean,
that's how I felt.
There will be a shorter stack for sure, so he will have a hard time continuing with a hand like even 9-8 in diamonds. Like he just has to fold it right now. Yeah. Like 8-9 in diamonds, probably not. But if he has a hand like 4-5 or queen 10 in diamonds, which would be a reasonable hand to float with, or ace 5 in diamonds, he just has to fold it.
See silent mode going ahead and putting on some pressure here with the stack sizes makes realizing that his he can have definitely a wider range, putting pressure on this stack here. Again, similar kind of situation. I'm actually curious. This is a big pot. I don't remember what happened. Oh wow, and he let out. What the hell? What is this? I don't even know. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Wow.
Sick hand. Queens again. Here we go.
But I think, that's the point. 6-5 suited there. like even against the bluffs, you're just in such a bad shape. And on the bubble, you don't want to mess around with these kind of hands.
Yeah, I mean, this was literally stone bubble, or one off the money, I guess, too, maybe. So we're missing one player, 9 and 8, 17. So it's 17 or 16, depending on the other table. And you can see good hand selection, 9-10 suited. Go ahead and open it up, and they both hit the flop very hard. But, you know, look at this. Bets his gutter. Nice bit going third pot. Gets called. And then, that's the setup of setups. Under the gun +1. 5-6 suited and 9-10 suited. They both make their. And then what about? I mean, here I guess you just, as played, 3-bet pre-flop. You like leading here, or just check calling? I mean, I guess your hand, like you would think, you just have to have the best hand. I mean, you're losing to 9-10 only, really.
I like the lead. I think it's fine.
Lead call, maybe even. It kind of looks committing though. I guess whatever. I guess you're going for half pot and you just think you should have the best hand. I mean, that's a pretty sick hand. It's a big pot.
Yeah, that's really that's indeed a huge setup.
All right, well, so unlucky for our friend J8 offsuit, so now he's basically short. Next hand, we get our hand of the tournament. We've had several times. We get queens, we get a shove, and I don't know, I guess, I mean, just get it in, just ship it in. I don't want to really have him call, right? Is there a point to try? I don't see how Cart's ever going to shove.
Nah, you're not inducing anything here.
Yeah, so we're just all in. Queens to go to the final table, I believe. Or no, this is to make the money. Can't remember again what he had, even though so many hands this, but I think we win. Don't remember any. Okay, another flip. Small flip, but they all are big. So back to 200K. We're sitting pretty good. We are coming down the stretch here. I think this orbit is when the hand of the day, in my opinion, comes up. King Jack. So we get 8s now. We're down to, let's see, 7 and 8. So I think we're in the money. We've hit the money. Pretty clear. We're open flat here with 8s, 55, 40 blinds deep. Seems reasonable.
Yep, absolutely. He's also one of the guys that is probably opening a bit wider. So
check back on the flop. I think that's kind of standard. Do you see a reason to bet there? I mean, we have 8s. It's a pretty good flop for our hand, but I mean, I guess we could protect. What do you think there? 7-7 jack flop with 2 8s.
Not really. He can have 9s. 10, like, let's say if we have 10s and we get some value from 8s and 9s, I like the bet more.
Yeah.
But with 8s, I just probably keep checking here.
Yep, that's how I felt. Okay, so we're aligned on these kind of spots. There's check, and then the runouts queen. 7-7. He bets on the river. Like, I mean, here it's just like there's too. He could have ace highs. He can have other stuff. He could also be counterfeited with 6s or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of in my mind. I'm losing to 9s and 10s. A jack, obviously, like a jack that check back, weak jack. So like king jack, something like that, or ace jack. But so we decided to call. I don't know. I think we're being too many hands.
Very very standard call.
Yeah. So weak jack, 10 jack to king jack makes a lot of sense, and so that was a little annoying, but not, small pot and the kind of dicey board. Fold to ace 4. We're getting to it here. There's 9-7 suited. Let's see. I think this was, I mean, again, could open that 9-7 suited 7-handed, but there's shove stacks. Europe's short. I just get out of the way. And
it's also very very weak hand. You have great players sitting behind decks, sick one, silent mode. Not a hand you want to get involved with.
So Cart, I'm not so familiar with him. Everyone else, I raise the button, queen 10 off, get called, flop. Oh, this was an interesting hand. So we have a gutter, good hand to bet, and we have the queen high flush draw. It's a gut shot. We're in position. What do you think? Good 40% pot?
You can go even smaller.
Okay.
You can even just bet 1/3 pot just to make him fold under pairs. Some hands like 6-5 in spades, just deny him his equity, and then keep barreling on any heart on the turn.
Okay.
And we can even just second barrel with nothing here. Like even if you're not going to pick up any equity, make him fold a hand like 9s that he might peel once, or a hand like a weak king, or something like 10 deuce suited or queen deuce suited, and make him fold a bunch of equity.
So this is actually, I think I get too cute sometimes with like stuff, but here we bet and then get called, and we hit sort of the gin of gin. I mean, I guess in theory a jack offsuit would be better, but we have the nut blocker, and we also have the nut straight. So he checks us here. What do you like?
Keep betting. Like we have 3 streets of value, for sure. Like at least the turn. If he picked up a hand like King 5 with 5 in hearts, or Ace 8 with 8 in hearts, or Ace 9 with 9 in hearts, he's not going to fold, right? Or if he's something like has King 10 with 10 in hearts, like there's so many hands that have like just 20% equity, but from his perspective are relatively strong now because he has the redraw and like also has so much equity against your bluffs. So I would just keep barreling here.
All right, this is the fancy play syndrome. So I got a little fancy. I decided to check and like kind of, which probably just doesn't make a ton of sense. Like other than I guess if I'm like worried he has like a 4-5 of hearts or something, I'm pot controlling, but just probably too cute, right? And then I check, he checks, river, he checks, I bet, and yeah, I think just better to. So let's just say if I bet the turn and he check raises, then we just call, right? We're drawing to the nuts. We may have the best hand.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We just
and then we can still make it. But it's so unlikely that he has a flush. It's like
right. He also didn't check raise the flop. I guess with like a 6-5 of hearts, he probably wouldn't check raise on the ace king board with the flush draw.
Probably not big blind versus button because he knows he's aware of the fact that he doesn't have aces, ace king kings. So I don't expect him check raising at all on this flop texture.
All right, so I think a little too cute. Maybe could have got another street of value there. Maybe just in general, just to tell the story to bet. So all right, that was. Yeah, it felt like that was a slight, not the best play. Let's move on. Coming up to the hand, there's a queen 10 off again, fold, and again here we're now 6-handed, and we're in the the hijack. So could open that one. That's also pretty big stacks. All really good players behind though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good fold.
It's good. Queen jack of hearts. We open up under the gun. Nice hand. We get 3-bet. Here, I know this hand's good enough to just peel, but I just felt like we did see the 9-10 of heart 3-bet. I think he's going to be playing a lot of pressure. That hand, for that price, maybe it's just too good to fold, but I don't know. I just decided to get out of the way. I think at 45 blinds, what are your thoughts there? Is that a clear mandatory call or?
Against him, probably yes, just because he's extremely aggressive in these situations. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wakes up with a hand like Jack 7 suited, to be honest. And he's just too aggressive in these spots. Against any other opponent might be more forward, but against this particular opponent, I would have called for sure.
Okay, we get the 7s, and we get Europe fan who raises off of the stack. Kind of interesting, off his 15 blind stack to make it almost 3x. We just jam it in.
Yeah, absolutely. And a good rule of thumb here is like if you have a hand that you would have called a jam anyway, just go and jam yourself. Like don't make it more complicated and be afraid that it looks like he has aces or kings. Like I mean, it looks strong, right? He has how much did you have? Like 13, 14 big blinds?
15,
like yeah, it's like wow, no, he's almost 3xing. Like really looks like a trap, right? But on a higher level, like people also take advantage of that and trying to delude you.
All right, this is my favorite. Well, this was the most interesting hand of the whole day for me, and I can't wait to hear your analysis on this. So, Jack King suited, very nice starting hand. We're 6-handed. We're basically on the final table bubble-ish. I guess it's 3, 9, 6. Yeah, it's like 11 left because the other table has 5. We have 6. Okay, I have Jack King suited. We can let's just play it. Let's play it to the. Let's play it out. 2K, 4K, 40 blinds, Jack King suited. We see Omaha for rolls. Good player. Open it up. Do you like a flat or 3-bet here?
Against him, I lean more towards flatting because he's also capable of 4-betting and messing around, and then it really sucks. So I really like the flat here.
Okay. So we flat. We get silent mode in, and we go to a flop. 3, 3, 5, 2 diamonds. Very good flop for our hand. We have 2 overs. We have a strong flush draw. We're out of position, but I mean this is smashing the flop in my mind. How do you proceed here?
Checking and probably just check calling. Check raising is not an option because it's a spot like even if we have 9s, 10s, do we really get it in? Look at button, look at even hijack is shorter than us. So yeah.
All right, turn jack. We improved to the second nut flush draw. We have the second best jack kicker, so we're king jack suited. I mean, it's a very strong card for our hand, of course, making top pair here now. So again, what do you like here? I mean, we're not really. What are we scared of in our mind? In my mind, I'm scared of only an ace or a queen that's a non-diamond.
The big blind might have a few 3x hands in his range, so in order to pot control, I don't mind a check. In a normal environment without any ICM pressure, it's a very easy bet. But that's exactly what was because cutoff actually can really have aces, kings here, and even queens frequently, because it's a spot where you cannot just go bet and get it in with his overpairs, because very often either you or silent mode is going to call down with a better hand. So start pot controlling on the flop is already quite reasonable, and it seems like he either was trapping with a very strong hand like 5s, or indeed he was pot controlling with aces or kings. So for that reason, I would have preferred keep checking on the turn.
In my game, you know where I lean. I'm leaning towards caution. So I don't like my lead here really either. Like, what am I trying to protect? I can be behind the 3x hands, or exactly that. He could check back easily a pair like queens or kings or aces. I mean, we're blocking kings, but like, aces or queens could check back easily there on that board against us. Just kind of pot control, not really scared of much if somehow silent mode has a 3. This is a bizarre hand. So we lead out. Again, Ben, I want to preface by saying when I play 1 or 2 tables, I feel like, when I'm 6, 7 tabling and doing Twitch show, it's different.
Absolutely.
I feel like I'm not always playing my best. And these are the kind of hands where I look back, I'm like, man, it's like if I were playing one table, I think I would have come to that conclusion or executed it more clearly. So as played, it gets a little weird here. So now, I mean, I don't think we can fold, though. And we have a jack-king suited. But, I definitely don't love how this has gone. It goes check on the flop, and now it's like, this guy, exactly. He could have 5s full. He could have aces. Silent mode definitely could have a 3. He just peeled for like one more bet. So I'm losing at 3x's, pocket 5s. Also I could be behind ace jack as well. So it's not like a great spot. So now it gets super weird. We go to the river and it's a 3. So I check, and this is bizarre, man. We see a shove from silent mode, but again, he's shoving the stack to pot ratio. We each have like what's in the pot. So we see a shove here, a fold from Omaha, and now we're on the final table bubble. There's like 3 really short stacks. It's super awkward. Like, he's repping the 3. I guess, like, what bluffs does he have? Like 4, 6, diamonds, but like I just. I guess likely, like, the thing that got me kind of bizarre is, like, if he has a jack, I don't know if he's going to play jack 10 like that on the turn, where he's just going to, like, now raise when I lead, So it's kind of like he's repping 3x. Maybe, I don't think he would raise pocket 5s, right? Why would he, with the other guy behind him and have me out of position drawing? So it's kind of like he's repping a 3, basically, and I don't think he has a jack. So what do you do here?
Well, in most instances, I would advise to just fold, because it's a spot where, from his perspective, it's pretty obvious that someone has an overpair or a jack, and it's really hard to make someone fold an overpair on this board picture.
Right.
I know, though, that silent mode is capable of bluffing these spots, so against him, I would not have minded making the call here, to be honest.
I mean, it's repping quads is kind of intense, It's just hard to do. But he had.
It's like a level game. It's like a level war. It's like like he knows that I know that I barely can have quads here, given that 3 3s are already out there, and it's like, and he knows that you're probably barely going to fold a jack or an overpair, and. It's so tough.
I would love to see what he had, but we're not going to get that opportunity, because I did decide to fold, maybe a little stream equity, maybe just like really exactly all those reasons. Like, I don't know, what the hell does he have? I know he doesn't have queens, so plus, so it's like just kind of sucked. But I did fold, and that was a bizarre hand. So I guess maybe I could have just checked the turn and would have been a little different, maybe. But let's just see. I think we're gonna scroll through here. Should get to the final table pretty soon. You can see though our stack was at 215. Now we're at 120, and it's like a couple of those spots. Here I think we just check fold. Maybe we peeled one. That might be a little light, but I think against him, he's just got such a wide range, and I think we're being. You think it's okay to peel at that price, or still just?
Yeah, against that price, once it's fine. I mean, he might even protect his pocket sevens. Here, I would have liked seeing a lead, really. Yeah, I mean, he can only really have ace jack, ace 10, and I really would have liked seeing a river lead here. You represent heavily ace jack and ace 10, and you do have those hands in your check call range, right? And you can still have traps with like kings, queen, like ace queen or whatever. You can have jack 10 in your range, and you're probably
the river.
Yeah, you're probably not opening any looser than sevens given the stack size distribution. So like you're literally the bottom of your range. So right, even jack 10 got there.
What would be a sizing here, like 19?
Just like 24K. Make him forward a hand like tens, jacks, nines, a hand like king jack, king 10, and I think like this is a spot where you will get a lot of credit. I mean, just put yourself in silent mode shoes. If he has king jack and you play check call, check check, and then you lead the river on an ace, what can you really have? What can you beat? I mean, it's literally just eights and sevens what you need to turn into a bluff.
Right.
And those are just 6 combinations each. You have like 12 combinations of ace jack. You have 12 combinations of ace 10. It depends on blocker effects here though. But just roughly, let's assume like you have 24, 25 combinations of ace jack, ace 10. If you traps with queen jack, you have 4 combinations of jack 10 suited. So let's say you bluff eights and sevens here, 12 combinations each. So you have like 30, 35 value combos, and then just 10, 12 potential bluff hands. Right. So, and also some of your flush draws, you already start betting on the flop. So it's not like that you have so many busted flush draws on the river. So this would have been a great card to turn your hand into a bluff.
Okay, good, fair enough. We do see he had nines, so a little unlucky, but that's also maybe a spot we could have won. Let's see, ace deuce suited in the small blind. We see a raise. These guys got the big stacks, and we just pass it up.
If it's final table bubble, I expect him to be very aggressive in that position, and especially with the button being so short. I really would have liked seeing a pre-flop 3-bet there with ace 2 suited.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's those spots you will get a lot of credit. You have 20, 25 big blinds.
Yeah, here as well, we had king jack off. We folded. Could have maybe opened.
Yeah, I think that is reasonable. Wow.
See a big collision here. I don't remember what happened either. I think this put us to. It doesn't look like a winner. Ace queen just gets the cookies. Oh yeah. So here, I think we're stone final table bubble. There's 10, 5 and 5. So here, this was 20 blinds. Ace jack off. Sick one opening under the gun, super wide, going to be opening on the front. This is probably maybe better just to ship it in.
Yeah, 20 bigs. And as a rule of thumb, you can keep in mind, if you have 20 bigs and you're playing against the chip leader, he's opening from cutoff, hijack, you just have to go with it.
Okay, so we end up flatting. We go check call. He bets like a 4th pot on the flop.
Yeah.
Which again, he'd probably do with this whole like all his king 10 and queen, all his air and stuff. Try maybe suited backdoor some action here.
Yeah.
We just go check call, check, and then decide to even check the river, which I guess we could value bet there probably on that board, right? But maybe just,
I mean his range is insanely wide. He might try to get you off a low pair, but it's 20 bigs, so you're not having so many pairs, and even here pre-flop, like he will have so many of those hands, like queen 10, king queen, king 9 suited, king 5 suited. And most of the time, they're just realize too much equity. And
it's a lot of queens we've had this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot. So we raise queens, 9-5-3 flop, very good flop for our hand. And go ahead. I think we're gonna bet. I believe, yeah. So small bet. What do you think of that sizing? It's fine.
Yeah.
So here we go. Final table. So we're here. 146K. You can see we'll flash that on the screen. The payouts I think I sent to you, 46,000 to first, and ninth gets 5,600. So pretty wide range. Interesting to note here is there's still one. Let's see. Yeah, 2 stacks short, pretty short, and then we're sort of in the thick of it. We don't have a great seat. We got 3 big stacks kind of to our left, the 3 chip leaders with all the chips. So it's kind of in this spot. It'd be nice to kind of ladder up a bit, not get in too many weird spots early. We still have enough play. We have 30 blinds, which is a lot. It's plenty for a final table. Good structure, but. Yeah, anything that immediately jumps out to you if you were to make this final table, what your strategy might be, what you would be looking at in particular, and how you might try to navigate this?
The seat indeed is very bad. Like having the 3 big stacks to your left is not nice. I'm just probably going to open fairly tight, doing a lot of limping. It also really depends how this Xiao guy is playing. Who's just 3-betting, but he also seems to be more on the aggressive side. So, yeah, that would be my basic strategy, and then being very, very aware of how the table or how the players are going to play and how the strategy is going to be. But yeah.
Okay. So fair enough. We're close to an hour in, so we'll do this one video today. I think this is great. I've already learned a couple of things just kind of jogged my memory of a different way of thinking. Let's see if we're gonna play. We're just kind of winding down here. I don't want to spoil the video, but we're here. Is that a hand? Is this ever a spot you would do anything with? Queen 9 suited there.
I mean, he's now the chip leader of like the guy on the button here. As the chip leader of the 2 stacks behind, so he has the biggest stacks, so I would expect him opening quite a lot, and you can easily still get this hand here like to 30k.
Yeah, that feels like would be a good play. Didn't do it. And let's see, A7, nothing too exciting. There was one spot in particular coming up here that definitely felt bad, and I think was a mistake. But here, we see this guy opening up, we fold the ace-10. That's fine.
And he's also opening into 3 big stacks, so he won't be that wide.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Oh, we got it. Is this? I mean, got a lot of the queens today. That's for sure. There's no shortage of queens. We didn't get a lot of aces or kings, but queens just kind of got it done. We got no action there. Pick it up. A6 suited, I think. I don't think anything exciting here. Maybe it folds to us. Yeah, I don't think I can our stack to open. Maybe I could into here.
Maybe, you can open limp.
Okay, we do fold. There's one hand that just was like didn't feel right, which we'll get to here soon. And this guy, Quiddy Bear, ends up getting really short pretty soon. I'm not sure which hand it was, but he gets down to like critically short. So that was there was something where I didn't, you don't want to ICM wise, like it's only $1,000 pay jump. Oh, this was a hand I didn't love. I limped the button with King Queen, and this guy was kind of the wild card. He's from China. I've never seen him, and I don't know. I guess I could raise. Like, what do you think about limping here?
I really like it. I think it's fine.
Okay, so this hand was like one that was kind of interesting. So I limp. We get a 10 Jack 7. We have no club. What do you like here? 20K in the middle.
I think you can do both. Like, this is a very, very typical sport where you will find merits for checking, but also merits for betting. Like betting, you will make him fold a lot of hands, but also by checking, you can still turn your hand, or you can still bluff your hand on turn and reverse. You can represent a lot of like 10-9, like Jack-9, or something like even King-Queen and like King-9 and like ace-high flush draws. So
yeah. I didn't know much about this player, and the stacks are just kind of weird. It's like the 3 huge stacks are here, and it's almost like 2 games going on, and then there's like all of us kind of like, there's 5 guys in the middle here. I decided I didn't want to get check raised. I just felt like it would be awkward, and like if he's a good player, he could do that with a lot of hands and put me in a tough spot with no club. So I just go check, and then he leads, which I don't know. This was like, I just feel like, again, a queen of kings going to be good here a lot. I think the the ace or a 9, and he may not even have much. So I don't know. I just decided to call, even though it felt kind of awkward. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I think it's good.
It's fine, yeah. So then obviously we're looking to improve. We don't. We have king high, and then he bets the river. So we just fold. And that hand, I didn't love how it went, but other than checking on the flop, I don't know what else I could really, or betting on the flop.
I think you played it absolutely fine.
Yeah. So 5-6 hearts, not much we can do. We're short stacked. I mean, I'm not going to go through every hand, but I just want to get, when we get down to, there's one spot in particular. I think you can see, Quiddy Bear is like critically short. So again, it's like half a buy-in. It's a 1K pay jump. So I'm not going to pass going all in with, a solid hand, but also at the same time, I don't want to take an unnecessary spot. Talking about risk premium, it's still not super into play just because the pay jumps aren't massive yet. But like here we have 7s, and this hand in my mind just too good to. What are we gonna do? We have 11 blinds now, even though he only has 32K. We're also shoving into these two guys who are So this just seemed like a clear all in, even though it's again, I don't want to bust before this guy, but
it's very close. Yeah, I wouldn't. This is literally the bottom of my range.
Right. So I took that spot, got that one through. 7s again. I think this time there might have been an open, or no, we were just under the gun, and I
would just fold. Yeah, I think that's good
with him. Again, these guys are kind of like, it's a lot of their chips or all of them, but so I don't know. This was just kind of stunk the spot, but it's not the best spot. So you can see shoving 7s, not shoving 7s, and it's good. And then we see a big pressure on this guy. Whoa. There it is. Silent mode it's good, and he takes those spots. He's like always raising under the gun raises when it's awkward. Here's the hand of the final table. So 3,500 7K now. We see an open from Sick One, who's definitely going to be opening wider. And this, let me do that again, just because this was the one that I think that I was not as clear on this spot. It just felt more uncomfortable with the raise and for me what to do here. So, obviously getting in like 11 blinds here doesn't seem so bad. The problem is this guy has 3 blinds for 1,000. Yeah. And I figure if I flop a good hand, like I might even, if I hit an ace or jack, I could even maybe let him kind of barrel it off on me, trying to put that pressure on me. And if I go all in, maybe if I just pick up that hand, it's a good pickup, 20, 23, getting 30. It's a huge stack to pot ratio increase. What do you think here? Do you feel like it's a must do one way, or?
I lean more towards jamming, just because first of all, you will have an insane amount of forward equity. He's totally aware of the situation. He will probably open raise like 30, 40, if not even 50% of hands. Right. And it's a great spot for him. Like all stacks even apart from the button. So you will have and what is he really calling your jam with? Like 6% of the time. So like if he opens a 40-50% range, like 85-90% of the time, you're going to pick up the 31,000 uncontested. And even if you get it in, he calls you, you still have like 35-38% equity. So all in all, I would just go for the rejam, even though the button is so short.
Yeah, I knew
you have to keep in mind, because the button is so short, he will also widen his opening range, and it will also give you more fold equity. So yeah, for me,
that's kind of how I thought about it. Again, I was playing a lot of tables, and I just was kind of I knew it was close, but I was thinking in my mind, let me just take a little less variance route. There's this guy short, he's got no chips, but the problem is he's opening 9-10 off, and then I'm going to miss the flop, right, most of the time, and then can get outplayed here. So
you can also not float so often anymore. Like even here now, if he bets 15K, what are you going to do?
Right.
With his 10-9 in clubs, and you have an ace high, backdoor nut flush draw, and it's just jam those hands pre.
Yep. So it is a decent flop. It's not a good flop, but it's we're still beating a lot of hands he's opening, but we end up he bets small 9,800, I think 9,200.
Against the sizing we have to call
Yeah. And as we saw before, we played actually the exact same pot right before where we flatted ace jack and it came ace high and he just checked, gave up. So with that logic in line too, I think I could just check and check down. He's probably, without a king, he's not going to barrel off against me most likely. So, I also had the nut heart blocker. So I think that was a little bit of a disaster of a hand. I think just for those reasons, just get it in pre. think then we had 5. So again, we're down to critically short. And here, this guy has what? He has now 2 big blinds, and I have 5s. And here, though, I'm shoving into the 3 chip leaders with 10 bigs. I mean, what do you think here?
Yeah, I would fold here. Because the thing is now in 2 hands.
Especially with an open.
This is an easy fold. The guy has to pay the big blind like in 2 hands. Like, I mean, not to pay the big blind. He has to pay the bet that is coming for sure. Someone is raising into his big blind.
Is this the same hand? No.
Yeah, it's the same hand.
No, it's not.
No, it's no, but the same poker hand.
Like same hand, but there's not an open. Not an open. I mean, so I do pass that again, which you would pass? Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so we get nothing. This guy looks like he did bust ultimately. I don't know. That guy, do you know, are you familiar with him?
No.
Yeah, it's a little strange to get that short. To have like 2 blinds. And when
it happens. Like if you're not getting any spots, like it happened for me also. Some final tables. So.
All right. Yeah, no, I guess, of course it can. So, all right,
no,
7,
we
8.
Just look for first in spots. This would be a great spot.
Now we get king 9 of diamonds, and we're in the cutoff, and we have, 8 blinds. This guy has the same stack as us. It's a 2K pay jump, but, I mean, we
have to go with it.
There's just really, that's in my mind, that's a pretty monster hand. I mean, we're in the cutoff, king 9 suited. He can't call us, and we end up getting flat called here, and, he turns over, believe it was ace 8 off. So we actually turned a diamond draw. He had us, and it's fair fight. We're like 40-something percent, 44% to win that hand, and be 130 would put us in really good position. We would be. I mean, look at these stacks. That was actually that was sick because it was anyone's game. It was sort of like these guys had first 3 almost locked up or pretty much comfortably were chilling, and then it was like a 5-man race. And so to get 8th out of with that situation is a bummer. It's like that's it'd be nice to get 5th or something, or 4th obviously would be huge. But anyway, so that was it. That was a 2100. I think it's pretty clear. Looking at you, Ben helps me out with some coaching. He takes the time to do the videos. He's regarded as one of the best tournament players in the world, and I think it's pretty clear to get some honest feedback about my game. This wasn't rehearsed.
Absolutely, best thing you can do.
And I've seen already some of the spots like the ace jack suited or the ace jack at the end, it was like it felt bad. I kind of knew the right answer, but then for that 4s hand, that's to me the most valuable hand of today was the 4s hand to be how to be leading on those turns anyway, and for the right reasons. Why the sizing, what we're doing, what we're accomplishing, and also even just pre-flop on that stack depth. To just maybe pile it in, put him in a tough decision. It's hard to make a pair. What is he doing with ace 10? And we have a pair of 4s. And in the worst case, he has an overpair. We're still healthy, and we're 20% to win on the all in, and he's rarely calling. So I think that's really important, valuable lessons to take an honest look at our game. Definitely did not play perfect this one, but it was a great Sunday. 4 final tables, won the 33 rebuy for $13K, $30 buy-in. We final tabled this 2K the first time we played it, and a couple other final tables as well. So all in all, a strong day at the tables, and this was definitely a very valuable video review. I know it's got to be a little long, but we will just do this one, and I hope people get to enjoy it. And I think this will be, maybe out of all the reviews we've done some ICM, we've done some stuff. This is just kind of like, it's clean to do a face-up whole card review and see the different perspectives and reasons why. So I think this is really great, and I hope everyone at home is going to enjoy it.
Yep.
So cool. And Ben, where are you right now? You're in Vienna?
I'm in Vienna, yeah.
Guys, you can join Raise Your Edge Discord group. They have an ID. We can get your Discord info up, your YouTube info up. You have Twitter and Instagram as well. Yep. Put in kind of your grind and some of your preparations. And there's some exciting announcements for Raise Your Edge coming up, with some other course stuff's going to be coming on and adding to the already elaborate course, which we will just flash here again on the, well, this was actually the whole card. This was our Twitch stream face up here. As you can see, it looks a little more exciting when there's the cards and all this stuff. But,
absolutely,
but the work is there. And then again, this is the course, Raise Your Edge. This is all the different things. There's hand ranges. There's There's a bunch of different categories. And then the W Coop 100K review, which Ben took down. This was one of the things that clicked for me that I love. Even I'm not going to say I cheated, but when I got your program, this was the first thing I went to. It was kind of more fun. I watched these three. We had, Stefan Sothheimer, Run Goose Run on the third part, breaking down some analysis as well. He's obviously gone on, broken out, and had a huge year. I actually played with him in the Bahamas in the 50K some. And also, Fedor's here. And this is really cool. This is sort of like what we just did. We just took a review of the 2100 face-up hole cards, talk through spots and hands. This is what you did for the 100K, playing with Ike Haxton, Fedor, the final table here, and going hole cards face up. And really, to me, it's like I'm a visual guy. So seeing sort of the stuff you're doing and why it's like it really quickly, mastering 3-bet pots and all this other stuff is cool. It's not as sexy. This is kind of quicker, more fun, and just a way of like even just taking kind of subconsciously some of the stuff you may be doing and incorporating that into your game. So, yeah. All right, Ben, thank you for the time. This has been a fairly long video. We will be in touch with you, and we'll be working to continue our game. Thank you so much. And guys, please check out his work. He does some great stuff, as we've mentioned, and follow along on his various platforms. And Ben, anything else you want to touch on or mention coming up?
No, thanks for having me. Much appreciated, and I'm looking forward to fire some more sessions like that.
I love it. All right, Ben, we will talk to you soon. Thanks again for your time, guys. Check him out, and we will have some more videos with Ben in the near future.
Ciao, guys. Bye-bye.
Awesome. All right, BenCB, guys. BenCB789. Check them out again. We'll put that up on the screen, and you guys can follow along, and we'll have more of these hand reviews. I love to do these. Ben's very generous at this time. He does a lot of coaching, a lot of work, and he plays himself an elaborate schedule, so we really appreciate that, and I hope you guys and girls out there were able to take this in, and it was helpful. Please leave your feedback, your comments, what you liked, what you want to see more of, less of, and any comments on the video. Much appreciated. Thanks again. We'll see you guys soon.
It was all a dream, and if you don't know